All right, guys, I am really excited to show you what I've got. Been waiting a long time for these. Matter of fact, the airplane was supposed to do its original first flight with these installed. And what I've got for you is my carbon fiber wing strut fairings. They're beautiful. You can see up close, it's got like a, you can see the honeycomb finish to the carbon. It's really good looking stuff. Very lightweight, thick layers. I think there's probably 4 layers or more in there. Really light. So the install weight of these compared to the plastic ones, you're gonna save somewhere between 7 and 9 pounds. So huge weight savings. These are modeled off the same shape as the plastic ones. So your ratio of thickness to length to get the maximum drag reduction is the same with these. But anyway, so I want to introduce those to you. That's what this video is going to be about, is these carbon fiber wing strut fairings. They're very cool, very lightweight, very strong, and I'm very excited to get them on the plane. All right, guys, so I've been working on this, these carbon fiber wing strut fairings, and they're extremely lightweight. I weighed one of the struts before without these on there, and then I'll weigh it when it's all done and give you the difference in the weight. I think it was 12.56 pounds without any struts on them. So I bet you it won't go up more than about 4 pounds a side is my guess. We'll see after, you know, all the glue and everything. I did paint the ends of the struts. No reason to paint the whole thing. They're already powder coated. That was just to get black coming out either end. And then also down through the holes where the jury strut brackets come up through. I went ahead and painted that area because you'll see that through the holes. So right now I'm doing the back fairing on the left lift strut. It's drying right now. I used Hysol to glue the back seam. There are little balsa wood ribs. I didn't use a lot of them because it wasn't really necessary, but I used them on either end, and that will be for a closeout on the top. And then I put a couple in just to set the depth. But it really fits really well without doing a whole lot of gluing on there. So then I glued the aft edge, have that clamped down, and it's centered right now. I'm going to glue this carbon fiber, or this 3D printed piece that goes on the aft of the aft bar, and that's the angle you need cut out of the fairing in order for it to not hit the fuselage when the wing's folded. So that needs to be glued into place. So I'll go ahead and glue that one up because I have enough clamps to hold that. Then I've got the other 2 pieces cut and ready to go on. So I can either run down and get a whole lot more of these clamps so I can just glue everything up today, or you know, take my time gluing one piece, let it dry, glue another piece, let it dry. I'm kind of inclined to run down and get a bunch more clamps so I can at least get everything drying, because then there'll be some finish work that needs to be done after that. So the final piece of the puzzle is this combiner piece that goes on the bottom. So that will slide in over the top of the 2 at the bottom here, and then there's a little 3D printed piece that goes in between the 2, and this will be cut out to match that 3D printed piece to close that out. It's really nice stuff. Donnie, Knop, is the one that made them, and he wants to offer this kit. Just kind of seeing how this install goes. These are really cool. It's a lot easier to work with as far as cutting and the finish work than the plastic stuff. It's a lot lighter. I feel like you got to be a little more careful with it though, because if you cut one of these short, it is expensive. So these are really cool. So I'll give you the information on these when Donnie comes up with a price on them. Very labor intensive. I think he said he had like 20 to 25 man hours in each set. So yeah, they're definitely, I think the labor in them, I was trying to figure out how to do this myself. It can be done. The way I did the jury strut ones, where I did a balsa wood core and just laid the carbon up, was probably the way I would have done it. I would have just, you know, glued on some balsa wood, sanded it, and laid the carbon up over the top of it. To make a mold, especially one where he's using carbon with the injection, or the vacuum infusion, I guess is what you call it, of the resin, is really there's a lot of work that goes into that. So, you know, it took well over a year for him to work these out to the point where he was happy enough with them to send them to me. And he's ready to go to start producing these. So, be a lot more information at the end of the video about how to get your hands on a set of these. If you already have a plane with the plastic ones on there, you know, is it worth it to take those off and put these on? It might not be, especially if they're painted and matched and everything. But if you guys are building and you want to have the lightest and strongest setup as far as the struts go, you can't beat this. This will be the lightest of all the options, whether you go with the streamline ones from Kitfox or the round bar ones from Kitfox with the plastic fairings. Those are both going to be heavier than this. So this will be the lightest and produce the least amount of drag. There's a little bit of touch-up paint work to do, and then I'm going to go put them on the plane. So it's, I hope it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. I don't even know what date it is anymore. So I've got today and tomorrow, and I need to mount the struts back on Sunday. Plane has to be, I have to be able to move it out of the hangar on Sunday. So that's the time I have to work with. So I really need to actually get these all kind of glued up and drying today. The front fairing on the, let's see, that's the left strut, is drying now. And I've got the aft one on the right one. It's drying. So I just got the front one to do on that right strut, and then the combiner at the bottom, and then just some of the finish sanding. I think it'll come out pretty cool though. So I ended up buying 45 1-inch clamps from from Harbor Freight in order to make sure I get a nice solid edge. It is flexible enough where it kind of, if you pinch it down, you can get a bow. So by putting them every about 2 inches, it seals it up real good. I didn't have a problem with the back of this first one. You can look down and see, pretty straight. I got to sand off the over the extra where the glue's over, so I'll probably sand about a, I don't know, 1/16 of an eighth of an inch off the back of each of these. It will be kind of sharp though, still. But yeah, I just got to take that overhang off, and I might just do it with the Dremel tool first. Be real careful, go along there, cut off, and then sand it. But I think it's gonna look really sweet. Alright, another update. So all the fairings are on. You can glue it up and see how many of these freaking clamps I needed. Donnie Knop's the one that made these fairings. He suggested running just a piece of angle aluminum, maybe 2 pieces back to back, and clamp it so you wouldn't have to use as many clamps and you have even pressure. That would have been a good idea. So it might be an easier way to do that and maybe not get any waves in it. I may have a little waves I have to sand. Well, I can't really sand them out, but I might have some little indications of the clamp marks in there. So using some straight edge there and clamping it under there. The problem is it's immediately foil shaped, so you don't want to clamp it down and change the shape of the airfoil and force the glue down. So I think this worked pretty good. I was real careful to place them all the same distance in from the back. So that's the, let's see, that's the right side one. And then the left side one's over here. Showed this one already. Its back piece is already dry. Front one's just about dry. So once that's done, I'll pull all the clamps off. This piece will need to get glued in, and then I'll work on the combiner cover at the bottom. Get that all done. And then I'll probably take a little bit of, do a little sanding right around the end caps here on the other side. And I'll tape that off and paint those black. So it'll be black finished out at the top. And it'll be good to go. So probably another day and I'll get them on the plane. Alright guys, the carbon fiber lift strut fairings are installed. They came out absolutely beautiful. Well worth the wait. And my light's kind of fading here a little bit, but man, they're beautiful. So this nice combining piece at the bottom Even has an insert that goes in here. On the back side, it's got another insert that goes in that gap where you have to cut the back of the trailing edge so that it doesn't hit the fabric here when you fold the wings. That's all laminated up with carbon fiber over the 3D printed part. It just came out just so nice. And that honeycomb pattern, you can see it there, it's just beautiful. I mean, it's just got the coolest finish on it. And it's got a clear coat that's UV safe. Man, it looks great. That's what this has been missing. I can't wait to fly it tomorrow morning, get some numbers for you guys for speed. This is the fast setup. This is about as much as I can do as far as squeezing as much speed out of as possible, other than changing the prop. I do have two props coming to test. Be a 74-inch, 79-inch. This is the 81-inch. So that's the only thing I have left to test. Still working on the shock wheel setup. There'll be more on that in a separate video. Pretty stoked about that setup as well. But there you have it. Carbon fiber wing strut fairings by Donnie Knop. They are beautifully done. Absolutely beautifully done. All right, I just want to run down the weight of the install here. So the struts to begin with were 12.56 pounds. After installing the carbon fiber fairings, they weighed 15.64 each. So the total install weight increase with the carbon fiber on both sides, the whole setup, only weighed 6.16 pounds. Compare that to what the plastic fairings weigh at 13.5 pounds, and you come up with a total savings of 7.36 pounds by doing this install. So over 7 pounds savings. They look fantastic. Let's go fly it and see how they perform. All right, so I'm going to take it out and see if I can see an improvement having these wing strut fairings on. So a couple things I want to mention. As you see the telemetry data here, there was a pretty significant wind on the day I'm flying here. And so right now I'm flying up into the wind, and when I turn downwind to depart the pattern, flying with the wind. So the airspeed is different than what you're seeing on the screen. The screen is ground speed. So keep that in mind. I try to use some commentary here to let you know what I'm seeing indicated, what I'm seeing true, what I'm seeing as ground speed. Also, this is with the other landing gear on. So I do have the shock wheel landing gear on. There will be another video coming out shortly with information on that. But the combination of that landing gear and the wing strut fairing is the speeds we're seeing here.
Already in a climb, I'm doing close to 90, so that's encouraging. I think I picked up about 100 to 200 RPM on that climb out too at full throttle. I don't know if that's just conditions today or what, but. All right, see what you can do here. Start at 8,500. That's 65%. Still climbing here. At 108. Five 5.7 gallons an hour at 108. So just for fun, let's take it up to 75% power. $112. As indicated, so true airspeed's 114, indicated's 110. Ground speed you're probably seeing on the telemetry is 128. It's because I got a tailwind. That's running 7 gallons an hour. That's your 75% power. Let's pull it back to 50 or 8,500, which is about 2,200 RPM. This is my 5.5 gallon an hour cruise. That's right at 65% power today. Gotta level out here. So 113, well, the same as the last reading. Oh, it crept up on me, that's why. That's it, there we go. 108, 111 true, 119 indicated. The other cruise setting I like to try is 8,200. It's really nice.
Fall River Mills,
engine for the motor.
677 Delta Sierra, 10 miles to the west. We're going to make left traffic for runway 02, Fall River.
That's got me indicating 102, true at 104. So that's about 60% power. So let's break back to 50.
To the south, 2,500, inbound straight in, runway 33, full stop, traffic permitting.
All right, so previously when I was at my 65 or 65 to 70% cruise, or whatever my optimal cruise was for, it was a 96 is where I sat. I was right about 5.86 gallons an hour. Right now I'm at 4.8 gallons an hour, pulled all the way back to 7,700 RPM and doing the 96. So this I could burn, I could go all day at 4.5 gallons an hour, and I'm sitting at the same speed that I had running it hard before. So I would say huge difference in the performance of the gear and the struts, everything. So I obviously have to put the other gear on with the strut fairings to see how it's going to behave.
All right, so I'm real happy with the wing strut fairings here. We gained about a 5 to 6 mile per hour improvement in our cruise speed. You can tell. You can really tell there's a decrease in the drag. You just feel it when you're flying it. I know that's kind of see the pants comment, but it shows up in the indicated airspeed as well. The combination of those wing strut fairings along with the Grove landing gear and the shock wheel system, which I'll get into a lot more in the next video, and go into a full-on installation of those and a review, the benefits of them. We'll get to talking about those quite a bit. But the combination of those two changes to the plane have given me a 12 to 14 mile per hour increase in cruise speed. And that's really significant. Before I was somewhere around 96 miles per hour in cruise. Now I'm more around 108 to 110 at the same fuel burn. So it's really going to be a much better configuration for doing trips this summer, heading out to Idaho, possibly flying it to Oshkosh. I think this is the way to have the airplane set up for that. I've got a couple propellers coming in different lengths to try, see if we can squeeze a little bit more cruise speed by changing up the prop. And I'll follow up with that as well. But the next video will be about that shock wheel. I know I've been putting out a lot of hints on that. I just wanted to get enough flight time on them to give a good opinion. So that'll be coming out here in the future. So thanks for watching. I'm going to wrap this one up here. And if you guys are interested in these wing strut fairings, please drop a comment, because we're trying to gauge the interest level for Donnie to determine whether he's going to move forward with production on these. I think they're fantastic. I think they're well worth the expense. They are expensive, but it's just true craftsmanship on them. They're very well done. They save you the weight. They give you an increase in speed. So I'm real happy with them. And if you guys want to give me comments on your interest level on them, then we can get you some contact information and more information about how to, what they're going to cost and how to get a set. Until next time, thanks for watching.